one lone survivor, how he managed miraculously to escape. That's the man there on our screens. While 242 people on board that Air India flight died, one man survived. 40-year-old Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, a British national from Leicester. He was visiting India, meeting his family members. He boarded the London-bound Dreamliner with his brother. They were seated just across the aisle from each other. His brother sadly didn't make it, but Vishwas did. Moments after takeoff, Vishwas says the plane felt like it was stuck mid-air. This is his account. The cabin lights, he says, began flickering soon after takeoff. Green and white light that began to flicker within the aircraft, and then in moments came the crash. Now, he was seated in seat 11A, which was the first row of the economy class, basically right behind business class, near the emergency exit on the left. When the plane went down, the front left section where he sat slammed into the canteen building of BJ Medical College. In fact, as we hear from him, he explains how he really escaped. What worked in his favor was the fact that he was seated in an area which did not touch the wall of that medical college. Unlike the mid and rear sections that caught fire and disintegrated, the front section broke off and landed low, partially intact. If I can take you through that image of that flight crashing into the building there, you see the nose of that plane that's crashed straight into the wall, while he was right behind that area that had crashed into that building. Therefore, he survived. Vishwas says that he managed to unbuckle his seat belt, kicked open a small opening in the fuselage and literally crawled out. If we can show those images of the plane that's stuck on the wall of that building there to take you through a quick understanding of what that really looks like. Let me take you through exactly what Vishwas has said. He says, and I quote, "I ran there where bodies around me. I saw so many of them dead around me. I saw them, I got up, I ran. Someone, in fact, pulled me into an ambulance." That's what he said. Now, footage later showed the same man walking out, bloodied, dazed, towards help, wanting to get some help at that point. And right behind him was a thick smoke that was billowing. So we know for certain that the man escaped that burning plane and walked out almost unscathed. For the injuries that he had, barely any. Fortunate for him, he's now recovering at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital, bed number 11, ward B7. He's under constant monitoring, guarded by the Gujarat ATS and the city crime branch. Doctors say, in fact, right now he's out of danger, but he's under immense trauma, which I'm sure he'll carry for a lifetime here. Investigators do believe that his survival may have been sheer chance. His position near the emergency exit, the way the fuselage broke seconds before fire engulfed the wreckage, the way he managed to come out of that fire, all of this is an absolute miracle. He lived, but he's certainly haunted. He, in fact, says that he saw air hostess die right in front of him and a few other people. An uncle, he says, who was really trying to help himself but couldn't. He says he saw his brother's seat but could not find his brother. It was empty. He walked out of that fire and rubble all alone, has managed to survive to tell his tale. All right. Group Captain Jha, your take on that. I'll come to you on how do you believe that this man really survived. It's sheer miracle. A lot of speculation whether he was seated right next to the emergency exit that really helped him with a passage. But the plane blew up. It caught fire instantly. I still am amazed to believe that he managed to walk out of that fire.
Well, Nabila, once again, I remind you, I will be reluctant to speculate, but since this is my specialty, I know what is survivable crash, what is not a survivable crash, and what are the factors in survivability. All those things we calculate when we start working towards it on the table of the investigation. One thing I slightly disagree with you, that the front portion of the cockpit that possibly escaped the bellows. I slightly disagree, because had that been so, at least one person from that front section would have walked out. Maybe it could have been a passenger, maybe it could have been one of the pilots or cabin crew. No, that didn't happen.
What I
So
hear from his account, as per what he says, the man claims that when I woke
he's
up,
right.
he says, when I woke up, I saw on my right there was a wall, and on my left I saw a small window, and I tried to escape from that window, the fuselage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question on that. I was only telling you that had the front section, that's the executive class, would have escaped, then at least there would have been some survivor from the executive class. That was not the case. This person was in the general class, that 11A seat is the one which is just behind the in front of the door. So that door blew off, or if that was the exit, emergency exit, that blew off, or that was removed. Here is one clause again, I would be slightly circumspect. Whether it has given way, flown off because of the impact, or did crew try to, there are the situations in which crew just before landing or maybe immediately on the landing do try to take out blow off the emergency doors before landing or immediately after the landing. Those shoots and other things that do get deployed after that. I'm not sure whether the pilot had tried anything onto this. Only cockpit data recorded that black box will tell us that particular story. I'll be slightly reluctant to accept anything here. What that individual says that it was blown off with the impact and then he came out of it. There could be more than what he is saying. He is a passenger. I cannot expect him to give the aviator's view or the inspector's view what he speaks. He is telling you what he felt. So that's fine. That is what he has said. But I, as an investigator, as a specialist, I will be more keen to look at the additional features into that. What was the impact or not?
Sir, if I could bring in Captain Chinta on this, as per you, Vishwas's account, how would you look at his miraculous escape? Do you believe that the aircraft's design and seat location was really the reason for his survival, or was it all angles that that contributed to him coming out safe?
There are far too many variables on the angle of impact to what exactly transpired and how he got flung away from the main fireball, which ensued the immediate aftermath of the crash. Because seat 11A is barely 3 rows ahead of the wings. On the 787 is basically just 3 rows. The first row, it's actually the first row of the economy class behind the business class. So there is a bulkhead over there which separates the business class and the economy. Which part gave away on impact, which covered him to shield him from the fireball, which was an immediate aftermath after the impact on ground. We really cannot speculate. What he's saying can only be attributed to the startle effect post-crash and the trauma due to the crash. So we can discount whatever account he gives as purely a victim's account. From aviation perspective, miracles do happen. There have been crashes where aircraft have gone into mountainsides, and still we've had survivors. More than 4 or 5 where a Japan Air aircraft went into a hill. So this is a low speed impact where technically the maximum injuries would not be blunt injuries. They're mostly burn injuries, which will come out during the postmortems. But my view is that it is nothing short of a miracle that he managed to.
So you're saying this is just miracle. The fact that he was seated by the exit door, none of that really played a role. And now you might just see bookings hectically. Prices for seat 11A might just shoot up.
In fact, like I said, it's just ahead of the wing. If anything, with close to 60,000 pounds of fuel in those wings, that would probably be the impact point where the maximum impact of the fireball would have actually happened. You're so close to the wing.
Ms. Deepti, Captain Deepti, your take on the man who actually managed to step out of that burning plane We are not too sure if he actually exited before the plane went up in flames or whether it was while during the blaze he managed to step out. That particular point is yet to be established. But he says that the front part of the plane was already in fire. So I'm assuming that the fire caught on, and then while it was raging, he managed to escape.
See, Namila, I would not repeat what both the seniors have already said. They are absolutely on point when it comes to Sir telling that, it's not always 100% that the chances of survival are not there. So, with his experience, it is almost in every aircraft accident, we assume that somebody might survive. Now, I would like to back it up the statement of miracle with an incident that had happened with an Air Force jet in the HAL. It had happened, and unfortunately, the one of the pilot was my known, and the fighter jet had ejection seats, yet they ejected, and still they fell inside the fire of the aircraft itself. Now imagine an aircraft wherein you have the chances of highest survival because of the ejection seat, and yet both the pilots could not be saved or could not get saved, right? So this is where we call it the fate of destiny or the decision of the destiny. And this is what we clearly see in this case, because what Chinta sir said was exactly what my point was, that the position that he was in, it's not that it's the most safest, because there is the all the fuel is there. So it is the most impacted one when it comes to the ball of fire that has happened. So how come he has survived? Of course, I'm thankful to God that somebody has survived, and probably it was his chance to survive. However, all these speculations around how it happened, he would not know it. It was sheer luck. Uh, for him, of course, it's a very traumatic situation. But as an expert, if we talk about uh, the plane has got into fire the moment it has landed, so there is no chance that the fire has not happened till the time he probably would have gotten up, and we don't know at what particular time he would have gotten up. But when I apply my logic, it doesn't allow me to believe that the fire has not happened and he came out of it. Now the question comes that if 11A became so safe, then what about the seat beside him? Probably that person at least should have had major injuries but would have survived. We don't know. These are the kind of little questions that come to me as a person who has seen aircraft with that kind of closeness. So it's a sheer miracle, and we are fortunate that at least we can't say that it's a all fatal incident that has happened. So let's wait for the reports to come, and we are all eager to know that what has exactly gone wrong with such kind of advanced aircraft, with such kind of trained pilots, and a long haul distance flight wherein all the checks and balances are already done. Specifically, when the aircraft has already flown from Delhi to Ahmedabad. Certain issues have already come on the social media wherein people are talking about the AC not working, this infotainment systems were not working. About infotainment system, I never got a chance, and in fact nobody asked that question, but I would like to tell the viewers, whosoever is watching, that infotainment system usually works when the aircraft has flown off. Initially when it is at the halt, it is usually stuck.
And what about ACs? When AC is not working
ACs,
while you're in flight?
ACs 100% do work.
So was that cost cutting by Air India?
Sorry?
Was that cost cutting by Air India?
No, I don't think so. So I see, I'm not a Air India employee or...
No, I'm asking you. I mean, in your expertise, why do airlines do that?
No, I won't, being a gentle lady or an officer from the military, I don't see that with such kind of, some minutes of AC, any airline would do that kind of thing to the
So you're saying that
passenger.
AC, infotainment, those TV screens, remotes has nothing to do with the engine if there was a failure?
Yes, that's what my point is.
Not connected whatsoever. Okay.